Welcome to this old basement. Seriously though, I have to deal with this situation. So I want to talk about this channel a little bit and then get into the main topic. So when I started this channel, I didn't really have any intent other than to share some of the projects I was working on. I don't think I even spoke in my first few videos. That was more than a decade ago. Things have evolved over time. There have been gaps where I didn't do videos for a long time. Sometimes, or mainly that's because I was involved with home improvements, work, life, whatever. And I understand that some of you want to see the old electronics, and I would love to be working on the old electronics and showing you cool stuff, but I can't. So either watch something else, watch these videos, or, you know, there'll just be nothing for a while. Things have evolved a bit, as they have with other channels. I think there's a kind of a circle we all watch each other's videos. Shango, of course, Fran's lab, Mr. Carlson's lab, and we've all kind of evolved too. Technology Connections, another channel I love, and some of those, so like Alex at Technology Connections, I do believe, and Fran at Fran's lab, like they've gotten to the point where that's their full-time gig, I do believe. And Fran's Lab especially, she did a poll recently about what do you want to see. Teardowns, projects, cool, unique technology items. And she was surprised that the poll winner was, they didn't care. They liked her, basically, and wanted to engage in just whatever she wants to talk about. So I found myself in the same situation. I ran into some other YouTubers in real life, and they gave me some advice, and one of them was to engage more with the audience. So I started showing my face. I wasn't camera shy, I just didn't really think it'd be of interest. So my audience is all over the place. Some of you just want to dive right into repairing an old radio. Some of you are more into TVs. Some, I guess, are just interested in whatever's going on in my life, because you've been with me for a long time, which I really appreciate it. So what's going on in my life is fixing up this basement, and that's where the lab is. So, it's all going to come together and be interesting in the end, I hope. First, we've got to deal with this current situation I'm about to show you, but also this is where the workshop is. And I've been talking about building a new workbench. You've seen me sorting tubes recently. I mean, it's all part of the same thing about making the basement a better environment to work in and making a better lab so we can do more fun projects. So here's what I propose. Now, I grew up watching a lot of home improvement shows. This Old House, Bob Vila, Norm Abram, New Yankee Workshop, all that good stuff. But I don't have a whole lot of hands-on experience. I've patched some walls, I've swung a hammer, I've cut some wood, but I've never framed a wall or hung a big piece of drywall or any of that. I mean, I get the concept, just haven't done it. Probably have most of the tools I need. But it seems like a lot of you do, based on the excellent suggestions I've gotten and the feedback and so on. So I was thinking, hey, let's make this sort of an interactive process project as much as we can. And by that I mean I'll present you guys with the situation and see what kind of response I get, and if it makes sense to me and it seems to be a consensus, that's what I'll try doing. If there's a few different ideas that all seem promising, maybe we'll put it to a vote, maybe we'll try a few different things, see how it goes. So let's quickly recap the situation. We had a rat infestation. Took care of that, but that led us to do some exploring and opening up walls, and we found problems. In particular, this area, there were stains on the wood paneling that was here. Behind that, the drywall had mold. I've pulled some of that off, which just exposed more mold on the opposite drywall, and some rusty steel framing and some rotted wood framing. So we want to take care of that. Let's take a closer look. So this is a cement slab. There's a bathroom over here. some of you mentioned, hey, maybe water leaked from the bathroom to cause this mold and deterioration. Maybe, except that the bathroom, the toilet, is right over here. Sink. The hot and cold water pipes are up here. They run over this way to the shower, this way to the toilet and sink. And there's the stack, I think. And there's a bathroom directly above this. However, there appears to be no evidence of water running down from the upper bathroom or these pipes like down through the wall. The staining stops about here, and it was kind of in a hump centered around this area. So my idea that the basement might have flooded doesn't hold water because there's no like flood line around the basement. It was just kind of isolated to this area. Now there was something on the other side that might have caused this problem. I'll show that in a moment. And yeah, it is disgusting and possible this is just rodent urine that's soaked into everything over a period of time. Now I went back and looked at a video that I recorded when we first got this place. And back then there was a lot of stuff stacked up here. Some old original doors, windows, screen windows. And the lighting wasn't very good, but as best I could tell, it looked like there was a stain on the wall here already. Which is good. It means it's an old problem that predates the rodents, or at least the current set of rodents. And this is dry, too, I should point out. So in other words, this is old damage, I'm pretty sure. Now this bathroom's got issues. The bathroom above has got issues. This is old. Everything works, but it's old. The floor's a little spongy. It's got really everything's cheap as you can possibly get, and a lot of it's just off the shelf stuff. I think they still make this sink and cabinet. It's like one of the cheapest sinks you can buy, and same with the lighting and the medicine cabinet and all that. So I would have no issue gutting this someday. Everything works fine. The best water pressure of the 3 bathrooms we have, and the shower stalls is fine. We've used it as a guest bathroom. We wash the dogs down here, so you know, I'd like to tear it out someday, but not right now. The bathroom above has just got a horrible layout, and the collar on the toilet is broken, which is kind of like right there. It's probably what this pipe is going to. But I would think if that stuff leaked, it'd be down here. It's not. It's over there. All right. And while we're down here, I want to give you a look at a few other things. Then we're going to look at the other side of this wall. It would be cool to make this basement into a man cave rec room of sorts. Some of my neighbors with the same basic house have, but they warned me that it may look good, but you got ceiling height issues. The low point on these pipes is probably like 6 feet 4 inches or so, right about here. So if somebody who's tall is going to bump their head. Or if you're not so tall but you bounce a little bit, you're going to hit your head. And you've got this beam. Now this beam is another issue. So we've got a concrete perimeter. This basement, so I call it a basement, but it's like maybe 3.5 feet below ground and about 4.5 feet or so above ground. So we've got windows, you know, there's a window. This is ground level about here. So not exactly underground. And it'd be cool to cover all the walls, put a drop ceiling in. I mean, or at least some of the pipes exposed. It stays fairly warm in the winter. There are some ducts you can open up, and same for the AC. But the ceiling height issue is a drag. And if you don't want to walk on concrete, you got to elevate the floor like they did in the bathroom, so you lose more height. And that's what's on the other side of this. It's a raised subfloor, and then they carpeted it. Ideally, if I didn't have any stuff down here, I would just gut everything down to the bare bones, but I can't. So, down the middle of the entire structure is a beam, and there are 3 posts. We've also got the heating plant, HVAC plant, water heater, chimney for the water heater, and furnace right in the middle. and various sewage stack pipes, one there, a couple over here. Obviously we can't do anything about that. They put up this wall because they rented out half of the basement. There used to be a door here with a lock on it, and there's a living space over there. None of these walls are structural. I could rip all this out. I will be ripping at least a good portion of it out. But this beam, it's not level. When you're upstairs, there are some noticeable hills and valleys. So when you're at the extreme, you're at a certain height. I don't know if the camera picks this up, but it drops to here, and then it starts going back up. And the central post, they split the beam into two parts, and it joins here, and it noticeably drops off on either side, and this beam is cracking. And then upstairs, there's the big hump in the floor right here, and then it drops off this way. I've looked into getting that remedies. It would not be inexpensive. One great solution is use a steel I-beam, but it's several $100s per foot or something like that to get like an engineered I-beam in here with new posts. Or actually, I mean, if you have the money and you really want to get your ceiling height, you can get an engineered beam that they would put into the floor joists and then tie the floor joists into that and eliminate all the posts. Yeah, that would cost some money, but you know, hey, at least I could get a quote for it. At some point something's got to be done because we can't really refinish the floor above, which could use it with the big dips and valleys. But not something I do today. So continuing on, so this is where all my stuff is, and it's a huge disaster, more than usual now because I had to move everything for the exterminators and to tear out that wall and stuff. It's not as bad as it looks though, because like there's empty boxes in there, empty plastic containers. Some of the stuff can move to the garage. And I'm making really bad use of some of the shelving too, so this can be tidied up. Alright, so coming around, this is the other side of the wall that has the damage. And if we come down to here, we can see some daylight. That's the other side. That's where that copper mesh is. So all this is coming out. These shelving units came with the place. This one's screwed to the wall. I got to unscrew this and then rip out this whole wall. Again, these aren't structural. Just goes up here. Looks like there's like a metal U-channel. So maybe it's all metal behind here. I don't know. And now we know that it's cheap paneling and then drywall on the other side. Now over here we got some other stuff going on. I think I showed this in an earlier video. There was some sewage odor down here which you tracked down to this not being capped off right. I think there was a washer and dryer over here. We got an electrical outlet over here. We got hot and cold water in the drain pipe. And there's a gas line running over here that's no longer going to anything. And a hole in the wall for a vent, which could very well be a dryer vent. Either that or maybe it was a space heater. Like a natural gas heating plant of some sort for whoever was living down here. There appear to be no leaks, no water damage whatsoever on this side, so that's good. I had a plumber come out and he said, oh, this looks pretty sound. He wouldn't mess with any of it. So we're not. This wall, I suppose, will get sealed back up. And you can see over here they use that metal and then a combination of metal and wood with some big holes drilled in it to compromise the structural integrity to run some wiring, whatever. It's not holding anything up, so that's not really a big deal. So when this wall comes out, the question will be, what do we do? I mean, I don't have to replace it. There's going to be something funky where the edge of the carpeting and subfloor gets exposed. That could just be sealed off on the edge and not put a wall back up at all. And just, have it end at this side for the bathroom's sake. I don't know. We'll worry about that once we get it out. The last thing I wanted to show you is this guy. So I've started taking some of your recommendations to heart. Several of you recommended an Ozone Generator. I hopped onto Amazon at about midnight, saw one was on sale, ordered it, and 8 a.m. or so it was on my front doorstep. So that was cool. I've done a couple passes with it, about an hour each time. This is rated for a little bit more square footage than we've got down here, so that's not an issue. I can't say for sure it's made a huge difference. It's different, but the ventilation down here isn't so hot, but a bigger issue is, well, hot. It's been really hot and humid lately. In fact, this whole summer has just been lousy. It's another reason why I haven't done a whole lot. This whole year has been weird. A very dry spring and then a crazy wet and hot summer. I don't think we've ever had so much rain in July before. So in other words, it's dank down here. I do have a dehumidifier. It only does so much, plus that kicks out a lot of heat, so it makes it even warmer down here. So, you know, it's kind of pros and cons. Yeah, we do have a central AC, but we try not to use it too much to keep the electric bill down. At any rate, Ozone Generator, neat gizmo. It generates O3 ozone, 3 oxygen atoms, which is kind of unstable, and it kind of prefers to be O2, so it kicks out an extra oxygen atom, which will latch on to, I guess, organic odor-causing stuff in the air and oxidize it, break it down. That's how it works. There's also, I guess, it produces UV too, and there's a fan in here. You're not supposed to be in the room while you're using it, but I will just briefly try to demonstrate it here. I had a little bit of an issue with the cord on it. I think there might be a little bit of a delay too when you turn it on, so that you don't, so you got time to get away before it turns on. Okay, there we go. So there is some high voltage arcing action, nice UV, and a fan blowing it out. So now I'm going to get out of here. Another suggestion I got was, well, what to do about the wall. I could get some 4x8 sheets of drywall and screw it to some 2x4s and tape the joints and put joint compound on it and all that good stuff. Or I got a suggestion from Shengo to, hey, why not try some metal lath and plaster? And I was just thinking about that the other day. Here's the stairwell going to the basement. There's this nifty curved plaster job they did. This place is over 100 years old. It's all lath and originally it was all lath and plaster. So a lot of it's been redone with drywall as they reconfigured the house over the years. But some of it is certainly still plaster. And I was looking at this and I was thinking, hey, I could probably do something like that. I could probably even do a better job and maybe have some fun with the basement. For example, they got really sloppy in this area where the subfloor pokes through and nothing's kind of lined up right. Like I could just make this all nice and flush, maybe close this in, maybe enclose these pipes in something to make it a little less shitty looking when you come down the stairs and do some laundry, just to get a little practice in. So, keep your ideas and suggestions coming if you want to get involved with this little project. If not, well, watch something else for a while, because this is going to take probably a couple months. I do have to finish the GE and the Admiral 20B1 it is, so those I'm going to continue to work on while this gets worked on. They're both almost done. I can still work on the existing workbench and get those kicked out. So there'll be some electronics content, but this will be the main focus. When we pick up, I should have all these boxes and tubs cleared out of here, and most, if not all, of this wall ripped out. Please leave your comments and thoughts about whether you think this is a interesting project, if you got any ideas about how to go about doing it, or whatever. Thanks.